All right, guys, welcome to the Haven for the Sponsee AMA. We have Rupert, Daniel, Joel representing the team. Welcome, guys. Just a reminder before we get started here, AMAs are not endorsements. They are a chance for us to ask questions and get to know your project better. And nothing you hear on this AMA is financial advice. Guys, welcome. Go ahead and give us a rundown on the Sponsee project.
Right. Hi. I think I'll be starting, and I'll pass the mic to Daniel and Rupert later on to talk about more specific topics. Thanks for inviting us down here today for this AMA session. We have a lot to share and also a lot of progress made on our site with the products that we've built and that we want to showcase to all of you guys as well. So I think first and foremost, I'm Joel and I'm from Singapore, and Rupert is from Singapore as well. So we're both co-founders of Sponsee, and Daniel is one of the upper management, he's actually the head of business relations at Sponsee. So we work very closely with Daniel, and he has just visited us in Singapore for Crypto Expo as well. So that was really cool. So Daniel is based in Sweden. So this timing kind of works for all of us. So I think to start off, for all of you who have not heard of Sponsee before, basically we started off 2 years ago actually as an app that connects influencers with businesses. So we basically are a free-to-use app. That was our first project. We are free-to-use app that allows influencers to work together with businesses in the app itself for social media promotions and social media-based marketing. Now, I think today we're going to be talking more about the relaunch of our token, the SPE token itself, and how it connects together all the different projects in our ecosystem. So Daniel will be going much more into the details of the ecosystem and also the reasons for this migration to the new token. So I think this presents a very interesting opportunity to get new community members on board, and also for us to basically, do an outreach program, right, to get more people to know about us. So I'm really, really stoked to be here today and to talk about the exciting opportunities that lay ahead of us. So let me just go through very, very briefly before Daniel and Rupert touch on the details about what we're currently working on. So after the launch of our first app, which was in the iOS App Store as well as Android itself, for the Sponsee app itself, we actually went on to deliver on our promises with our last token launch. So there are 3 things that we promised the last token launch, and we went above and beyond to deliver all 3 of them, and on top of that, some more projects that we are working on. So the first thing that we delivered was the Shilly app. So have you guys heard of the term shill, for example, right? It's very commonly used in crypto space. So to shill is basically to create a lot of attention for something, to get somebody to know about something so that you can increase your outreach. So with the spirit of Web3 in mind and the spirit of the crypto space in mind, we did realize that one huge problem plagued the crypto space, which was the whole idea about crypto marketing being very shady, of being very scammy itself. So Shilly itself, the platform that we've just released, I think 1 or 2 months ago, is a decentralized Web3 platform that allows marketing service providers in crypto space to connect with new projects. So if any of you here want to start a new project, you can simply go to shilly.io now. It's really up and running, it's live, and there are tons of marketing service providers there whom we have partnered up in the industry that you could get to help to launch a project and to get to shill about your project as well. So that's the first thing that we delivered on and that we promised and we delivered on. The second thing that we delivered on was something called the jury protocol. So the jury protocol is actually sort of our consensus mechanism that takes into account the token holders in our ecosystem and gets them to vote on dispute resolution outcomes. So something that we realized in the past, alongside Sponsee itself, was that when disputes occur between individuals, it's very hard to resolve the dispute in a fair and amicable manner. So what jury essentially does is that it involves token holders and token owners in that aspect to vote on dispute resolution outcomes. And it's all decentralized, fully democratic. So those are 2 things we've delivered on. Now, something else that we have also delivered on was actually one of the games that we have promised. So we actually talked about entering GameFi space last year. And to date, we have actually 3 game projects in the works, with one of them already in the market itself and another one of them soon to be released in about a month's time. So we actually released the game called Stardust League. And Stardust League is actually a PvP anime style game that lets players, challenge one another in an arena-style based match. It's completely 3D, it's on PC, and it's not one of those 2D side-scroller games or those trading card games that you see out there. So if you like gaming and you like anime-style games like Genshin Impact, for example, do check out the Stardust League website. It's stardustleague.io. So that's something I'm pretty proud of as well, because I have been, heavily involved in the development process. So I think that gives a brief outline of some of the things that we've delivered. Later on in this AMA session, because of the sheer number of things that we are working on, I will be going into more depth and detail to each of these projects, and also the things that I have not touched on, which are the other projects that we're currently working on. So I think first I'll hand the mic over to Daniel, who will brief you guys more about the token relaunch and the migration process itself, and also the need for this new ecosystem token to tie everything together. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Joel. I think it was very close to a year ago we launched the Spoon token. That was our then native token for the Sponsee app. Now we realized that we have to have another native token to tie all of these applications and all of the things that we currently develop into one ecosystem. So the plan here is to have essentially an endless, limitless ecosystem with applications on top. With all different business areas, all do use different kinds of transactions and stuff like that. So we need a new native token. The new one that we will release, we have migrated the current users to SPE, but before we did the migration, we took the price of the token and we moved it to this launch pad. So everyone is at the same level on this launch, basically. The new token only has 3% buy and sell tax. It's divided into 2% on development and marketing fees and 1% to liquidity, so we can get a stable liquidity from start. Now, because we implement this in our applications and games, and they use manual buybacks and automatic buybacks and stuff like that in transactions fees to increase the market cap long term and short term, we also realized that because we will go into depth in this in the Chili app itself, but we do have a lot of exchanges that we have partnerships with, and we want to prepare for the future on that as well. So we have a built-in feature in the new contract that is a one-time permanent feature that allows us to move back to 0% utility tax on the contract itself if there is any large exchange in the future that requires this. I would say that's a pretty summarized version of why we're migrating. We're super excited to finally migrate to a new native token that we can tie in all of these applications and developments that we work on. Now, as Joel mentioned, we do things quite differently compared to other projects. We was just in last week on the Crypto Expo in Asia, and we realized that it's quite funny that a lot of the people that have booths on these expos, they basically sell something on a white paper, a project that some of them even use if in their description on these projects. We want to do it differently. We want to release these applications and show them to the public and show that they're working and that they're very high quality and that we have the teams and employees to build around these applications before we tie it into a token. So that's where we're at now. We have the applications out. We release them all very, very quickly currently. And we're super excited to finally tie them in and reward the holders that we do have.
Great. Before you guys jump on it and move forward here, I do have just a few questions. You mentioned you have exchanges that you have partnerships with. Are those ones that you can name now, or is that something that needs to wait for the actual listing?
To make it fun, I would say join Chili.io and look at our partners there that are currently there. Now, we will talk a little bit about Chili. We have some very, very interesting approaches to the market when it comes to Chili. I just want to check if Rubers wants to add anything before we go into details on these projects.
Right.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I mean, thanks for giving the very nice introduction, Joe, and Daniel explaining the logic behind the token migration and all of that. Yeah, I don't have a lot more points to add, except that in terms of the teaser of who we are working with, a very good way to tell that is to make a guess is just check out our Chili.io website. Not just for exchange listings, but other marketing providers and all that. Because when we work with them, a lot of times we also find good working partnerships where we list them on our Chili website to drive traffic for them as well. So I mean, just one of our business strategies that we use to get more people to join the Sponsee ecosystem by using one of the apps, which is Chili. And of course, there's a transaction fees and taxes which all lead back to the token. So everything is connected and mutually beneficial. Yeah, sorry, but I think I rambled a little bit. I'll hand it back to Daniel to complete his point.
So to I think we can go through the project, or do we have any questions before I go on?
The only questions that I have right now, I guess, are some of the details and some of the utilities you mentioned. But if you're going into details about those, I will wait.
All right. I can start with the Shili app. So the Shili app that we have released, it's a Web3 platform with a blockchain background. It connects crypto projects with service providers. Now, what's special with Shili is that we as a company give a verified badge on these providers. So we background check and make sure that the ones that list on Shili, for example, it's everything from marketing, development, listing, exchanges, AMAs like this one, ads, you name it, anything that a crypto project may need, we list on Shili.io. Now, we do verification badges on these so people can order services towards these people, and we guarantee that it's the right connection. Now, of course, there is a security thing behind this as well, and that's the blockchain smart contract feature that we have. So crypto project will enter Shili, they will find whatever they're looking for. Let's say it's a Solidity dev, and they will look at their services and they will order the services inside Shili. Now, we connect the crypto project with this provider, and then they both get to agree on a agreement inside the app. And if they're all happy with what's about to be delivered, the funds from the crypto project is transferred into a smart contract and locked there until the proof of work is provided, and then the money is released to whoever is delivering the service. So that's with all of these marketing, development, listings, AMAs, ads, and stuff like that. So it's a way to protect both people, that crypto projects, in this industry, that try to find the best return of marketing investment, because at the end of the day, usually on crypto projects, it's the marketing funds from the investors' money that they use. So they want to make sure that they get the best possible ROI from that transaction. And I think that's something that we can really focus on with Shili in the future, to have statistics, because Shili also introduces reviews and ratings on all of these services that people do. We do verification badges, like I said. We look at KYC badges and stuff like that in the future as well. But it's all decentralized. It's smart contracts to handle the transactions. The only one that can access them is the people that order services, and back and forth. Now, I want to mention one last thing about Shili that is very, very unique that we do, that I think is we're the only ones that do this in the industry currently. So when it comes to exchanges on Shili, what we're trying to do is to simplify the process of how people apply for exchanges. So anyone that has a crypto project, they know that it's a very advanced process to enlist in an exchange. They have to create accounts, they have to do order books, they have to do market makers. There's a bunch of things that they have to do. Now, we're talking to these exchanges directly, to these teams, and trying to figure out a quick and easy way to do exchange listings through Shili. So if you're a crypto project and you're listed on Shili and you want a new exchange, we want the process to be super simple for you to transfer funds, get the pairs that you want, and get connected directly to the team inside these exchanges, and make the process as simple as possible and as secure as possible as well. And I don't think that exists in the space currently. Everyone contacts their own contacts on these exchanges. They're all very confused on how it's made and stuff like that. And that goes with listing websites as well. So when we grow with this, I think we have a very unique thing in the business. We don't really have any competitors when it comes to the platform either. So we're in a very good position. And it's good to know that we do take a 10% transaction fee on all completed orders in Shili. It doesn't really affect the people that order or the people that deliver these services. And that 10% transaction fee is directly connected to the market cap of our native token. So the more we grow, the more the automatic buybacks will go towards the token market cap. And that is one of the features that we have in that app. So that's only one project. It's quite huge. I'd love for everyone to check it out. I can see that Joel is excited to talk about Stardust League, so I will pass it forward.
No, actually, I think we should go through the Sponsee app with Rupert first. But I think one of the things I just wanted to talk about is that for many of you here, you might be used to, a project coming on for an AMA session, then talking about one thing that they're doing, which is the project that they are trying to, market or get an outreach for. Now, we have been there, so we do understand that, we have been a single project company. But because, of the rapid growth of our team, we are about 80 plus employees now. So about the rapid growth of our team has given us the ability to, go into multiple different industries to disrupt these industries and also approach them from a Web3 perspective as well. So we just to cap everything off, we started off with the Sponsee app itself that does influencer marketing, that connects influencers with businesses for social media partnerships. And then the second thing we did was Shilly itself, which Daniel has just talked about for Web3 marketing. And then there was also the Jury protocol, which is our consensus mechanism. So I think before we go into the games, which are a whole other thing itself, maybe I'll hand it over to Rupert first to give some updates about the Sponsee app itself and where we're heading with it.
Yeah, thanks for handing over. So so for all the OGs, all the original Sponsee community members, this is the app that you guys are most familiar with, which is our Sponsee app, which is the thing that we started work on all the way back in 2020. It was during the whole pandemic. So the whole idea behind it started when we noticed a need for a platform to connect influencers and businesses. And our app has evolved so much since 2020 to the time that we launched our first Spawn token last year to right now. The app has evolved in many new ways, with many new features being added, new interface, a new interaction system on the app. And of course, this is all done because there was a change in how the team did it behind the scenes. So it was a learning and evolutionary process for us as well, as we developed this Sponsee app. And what's coming next, I would say, is the most exciting part of it, which is the one where we are going to launch the Sponsee app in India. So for those of you who are not aware, our team is actually very multinational. With as you can see, Daniel is from Sweden, headquarters in Singapore. But outside of that, we have a lot of team members from all different parts of the world. So for the Sponsee app, we actually decided to choose India because we have a lot of team members there, and that is where we'll be launching the app. Our Indian team members are very familiar with marketing and doing and influencer marketing activities on the India side of things. And they know that an app like Sponsee will be well placed to target the India market. So with the recent changes that are being made to the app, it's being done in a way to make it more suitable and more friendly towards an India launch. So previously we launched in Singapore and we got to like the top in the top 10 multiple times on Singapore's app store. I think we got to 7 or 8, on the iOS app store in Singapore itself. So we hope to make a big impact in India as well when we launch there with the new India-centric app. And that is something that we are going to try for in July. So it's going to be really soon. The team is doing finalizing some touches on the app, bug fixing some things here and there, working out the Indian payment system, which is something that took us more time than we wanted to, because to work well in India, it's about integrating the payment system so that the locals can use it efficiently. So yeah, once all those are done, we're ready for launch. We have lots of Indian influencers and ambassadors who are ready to step in and start using the app. And we have a list of companies and that we have contacted as well that will be coming in to use the app from the start. So it's something that's super exciting. We actually have so many things lined up for June, July, August period, and this is just one of the many. So so that's mostly it for Sponsee. Oh, okay, one more thing. Let me just show it to you on my phone. So it looks like this. So you can download it on the App Store and Google Play Store. So I use an Android, so this is on the Play Store. It works really well. You can scroll through the interface. The interface is so much nicer than it was previously. It was already okay back then, but now it looks cleaner. It looks like a more modern design. All the functions work, much fewer bugs, and it's something that I think the team we are really proud of the team for doing, and it's something that we've seen grow from a buggy, dodgy looking app back in 2020 when it was just Joel and myself trying to develop it from scratch, to what it is today. It's a world of a difference. So yeah, so that's the Sponsee app. Do you guys have any questions about it?
I have one question about it.
Go ahead.
Sorry for jumping in late there. The question is, so you guys mentioned that there's a portion that goes back to the buyback on the chart itself. How much is that exactly?
That one is for Shilly, so that one is not on the Sponsee yet. Sponsee, which is targeted for India's launch, will be done in a fiat way first because that lowers the barrier of entry, allows more users in. So part of our plan is of course to make our different projects diversify into different markets so that we are more recession proof given the current very bearish sentiments. So it doesn't go all out on crypto. Okay, but back to answering your initial question about the percentage of buybacks. I'll hand over to Daniel because it's a 10% that's broken down into various aspects. So I'll let him explain it.
So I know Joel will go into this as well. We choose a very different approach than the other people in the market. So some of our applications are directly connected to the token itself, but some of them, there is a better strategy, market strategy to build a user base first and then ease them into crypto. So with that, I mean, there's certain games, there's certain applications that we have to do fiat first and then introduce them into crypto. Now we have games and applications like Shilly that is directly connected to the token. Shilly does a 10% transaction fee where it does buybacks on the token itself. And because that is buybacks on the token itself, we can also move that extra supply as rewards to people that use Jury, for example. So there is not a Jury is our version of a staking protocol. Of course, we connect services and businesses. So if there's any dispute, it has a chance to get moved if they want to get moved to Jury, and everyone that is staked in Jury will help us vote on these disputes and get rewarded for it. With the 10% breakdown on Shilly itself, it's 5% automatic buybacks and 5% towards development, but we can move that number back and forth depending on how it works. But also, you know, if we go deeper into it, as features is added to Shilly as well, because if I'm talking about Shilly now, it has a lot of statistics that are very important to the market as well in the future, that in features that we will add. So it's all based on ROI for projects, how well certain services will work for specific projects, which ones is the best, and stuff like that. And all of these features you can get access to by buying our token. So by buying our token, you're automatically adding to the liquidity and you're automatically doing more marketing for Shilly. Now, for us in the future, because we vet and verify all of these providers and exchanges, that also means that they're directly have a partnership with us in the future. So that means that we also have the best possible marketing partners for the future of this token as well. So everything goes into an ecosystem. That's what we're trying to build here. There's no limit on what we can add to the ecosystem. And I think that's why we really want to focus on implement this new native token so we can finally get to tie it into this ecosystem.
Okay, let me just cut in a little bit more. So Achilles, to answer your question fully about the percentage that goes that's broken down from the 10% of Shilly transaction fees. This 5% to buybacks and 5% to the team is the fact that this is not fixed is something that our team actually looked into very carefully before the smart contract was developed, because they look at case studies of other projects where they actually fix this amount. So once this amount is fixed in the smart contract, it cannot be changed in the future, which makes it very difficult to carry to play around with these percentages. Which makes the whole platform more rigid. So a lot of benefits to having this variable fee structure within the 10% of how many percent goes back to buybacks and how many percent goes to the dev team is that we can split it up such that, for example, if we are doing a partnership with a very big service provider, or a very big project, we can alter the percentages to maybe give them a bit of benefit, cut back on our dev percentage, or maybe even increase the amount to buybacks. And it allows us to play around with these percentages on the business side of things to get more people onto the platform and to satisfy our users as well as satisfy our collaborators as well as our users. So it gives us a lot of possibilities to expand in the future. So that will give more clarity on that question. But as a default, it's 5% and 5%. Yeah.
I see that. All right. Thank you guys for answering. Please, I don't want to take up too much more time.
Right. Maybe I think I'll just want to touch on the next topic, which is actually to do with the overall strategy of the Sponsee company itself. And I think this will shed a lot of light on why we're doing certain projects and why we have ventured into certain industries and fields, including Sponsee, Shili, and Jury as well. So I think the long-term vision of Sponsee is to become the leader in Web3 marketplaces. So you see us going to all these industries to disrupt these industries, right? Like influencer marketing, like marketing service providers and crypto space. But I think the ultimate goal of where all these things come together is that we seek to become the go-to place that dominates the entire industry of Web3 marketplaces and connects people to one another on a peer-to-peer level or people to businesses so they can have transactions going on between them. So we do believe that virtual marketplaces are the future of the evolving economy itself as the world is right now. So I think with that in mind, I think this eases us very nicely into the GameFi side of Sponsee and why we decided to move into the GameFi industry and also the gaming industry specifically. So I think one of the things Daniel has mentioned earlier on, and Rupert has also touched on, is the strategic ways in which Sponsee ventures into various industries to hedge against the market and also to ensure that we have a diversification kind of strategy going on. So in terms of the gaming industry and the gaming market itself, we're not just talking about the traditional Web2 gaming industry, but we're also not just referring to the NFT gaming industry itself. So if you look at the majority of NFT games out there nowadays, they're either some 2D side-scroller games, some trading card games, or some very simply built games with Web3 connectivity in those games itself. So I think the state of the Web3 NFT gaming industry itself is still very, very new, fresh, and raw. And this provides us a brilliant opportunity to come in to basically establish ourselves as market leaders. But at the same time, we do draw on one very important case study, and this is something that I'm going to be talking about right now, which was used to develop Stardust League, which is our game that's currently released in the market itself. So this case study is another game called Genshin Impact. So if you look at last year's top revenue generating games, Genshin Impact ranks at the top of them. Number one, basically, it beat out basically number 2 to 9 combined in terms of revenue generated. I think last year alone, they generated $2.2 billion USD in revenue. And the way that Genshin does this is pretty brilliant and also very, very interesting, which is the basis of a case study here. So what Genshin did was that they basically introduced characters as a monetization process, similar to what we see in the NFT space. But rather than have a variety of skins, a variety of characters, they play on the individual personalization of each character. So the personas of these characters are very much fleshed out, and players resonate with the personalities of these characters. And they've sort of formed a virtual identity or virtual pegging of their own identity with that character themselves. So when you play the game, you'll say, okay, I'm this character main, I'm this character main. I play this character a lot, so I identify with this character. Maybe the character's animation sequences or the backstory is something that I really enjoy. So it's a character that I really love and I want to spend money on. So this is in a huge contrast, huge contrast to the traditional NFT GameFi industry, where they just throw out, 50,000 variations of skins, right? Where they overlap, using that software and they show you tons of variations. But no character really resonates with the player. So what Stardust League itself seeks to do is that we seek to do two things. Number one, create characters that people can love and they will spend money on so that we can establish a steady revenue stream and generate income from the game itself. Number two, go where Genshin Impact has not gone yet, which is a very risky but very rewarding challenge for us, which is to go into PvP mode, player versus player. Genshin Impact is a purely PvE game, player versus everyone basically. So it's the open world, player versus everyone game. For us, on top of that, we've included the PvP element. So you can play against other players and test your skills. So we do see that, the esports industry itself as well, with Dota, LoL, and a lot of other esports titles, is rapidly growing every year, right? Dota has a 42 million USD reward prize pool every year for its official tournament. So I think this presents a brilliant opportunity to fuse both case studies together and to also inject the element of Web3 connectivity into it when there is a user base. So this allows me to touch on my third point, in case all of you are confused. Okay, so this allows me to touch on my third point, which Daniel has already talked about, which is that we seek to get users before connectivity or Web3 interfaces. Now, the reason is this. The Web2 gaming industry is much larger than the Web3 gaming industry itself in terms of the number of players. But the Web3 industry for gaming presents a lot of revenue generation opportunities that the Web2 industry has not seen before. Now, you put two and two together, what do you get? You basically arrive at this approach that we're taking right now. If you can basically convince players in the Web2 industry to play your game without, the whole idea or the whole mask of Web3 games being very scammy or shady, and then introduce Web3 in a gentle format later on, okay? This is the best way to capture your audience and to basically get a player base and to get the outreach going about. So basically that's the entire strategy behind how Stardust League works. Now, as we have said before, we are very much about delivering product and utility before we do any sort of fundraising, any sort of token sale, any sort of things like that. So I think to date, other than the three different platforms we've talked about, Jury, Shilly, and Sponsee, the Stardust League game itself has to be and was officially released before we are looking at any form of monetization. In fact, we will not be monetizing the game so soon, and it will be free to play. So if you are interested, do check out the Stardust League website to basically have a go. There is already several top ranking players in the game, and today we just held one of our community challenges as well for a $500 reward. So if you basically can beat 5 of the developers, you can win $500 in cash. And I think today one of the challenges actually won. So yeah, got to do a payout for that. Now, obviously we're not ignoring the Web3 GameFi industry or GameFi space as well. So I talked about us having 3 different games in the works. So game number 2 is called Neo Futuropolis, and this game itself will come with the SP integration for a new token because we are very much about ecosystem. So as I talked about the idea of a marketplace, what's more important in the marketplace is the way to regulate the marketplace. And this is where the SP token comes into play. So the SP token in Neo Futuropolis, which will be a AAA metaverse cyberpunk style project, is basically going to have the SP token as a governance token. All right. So players with SP or holding SP in their wallets will be allowed to vote on certain governance processes. This will include things like, for example, if you want to set up a new faction within the city, if you want to basically control or regulate the central bank loans in the game or the decentralized bank loans in the game, basically. You'll know more about that as we reveal more information about Neo in maybe future AMA sessions. So I think one thing I want to stress about before I go back to the ecosystem is that for Neo itself, it's also not a white paper project. So basically, the game is already built. It's built using Unreal Engine 5, and we've utilized the best state-of-art technology, such as like a Lumen and Nanite, to basically optimize the game and make it look photorealistic. So if you do go check out the Neo Futuropolis website, I think the link will be somewhere down in the chat, or the YouTube channel itself, you can see snippets of gameplay, not trailers, but real snippets of actual in-game footage, where you can see the city that we have built, the people populating the city, the cars that can move around the city, the various different avenues and various different themes to the city. We have a Japantown, we have basically an Old Town Main Street and things like that with a corpo zone. So there are a lot of interesting things that we've already implemented. Now, the reason why we're not choosing to release that yet is because we have a lot on our plates, and our current focus is Stardust League, which we are trying to gain a huge user base for first. So when the time is right, Neo will go much more public and much more aggressive with its marketing. So I think one of the things that we have learned last year with our last token launch is the need for aggressive marketing post-token launch and the need for a line of events down the road. So this time, we have actually planned, a huge runway of various different launches of our various different products, as well as various different marketing avenues and activities to engage our community and players, and also to get the entire ecosystem tied in together. This will mean that Stardust League players will know about Sponsee. Sponsee community members will try to play Stardust League and vice versa. So basically, we get each platform's users and community members to cross into each other's platforms, and to learn more about the entire ecosystem itself. I think that forms quite a cohesive picture of what we're trying to build. So for Neo itself, it will also be more of a traditional Web3 NFT game. So there will be an NFT sale coming up with Neo as well. And this will include the sale of apartments in the game. There will be the sale of cars and vehicles in the game as well. So if you don't have a car, basically you have to walk through the entire city yourself, which can be quite a distance to walk. So it will be pretty cool. But there is also going to be an Uber service inside the game with which players with cars can utilize to monetize their own services. So there's a whole network of things going on inside Neo Futuropolis itself. There will also be PvP games and arenas inside Neo, such as a first-person shooter arena and also a sword fighting arena. So think of it like a lightsaber arena itself. So these arenas, some of the initial alpha or pre-alpha gameplay footage has already been uploaded on the YouTube channel. So do check that out as well. So I think I've talked a lot about the GameFi side of things. There's a game number 3 that's in the works. It's a fantasy MMORPG game that is very much Web3 focused. So as you can see, there's a diversity of approaches here. Right? Stardust League starts off with a Web2 approach to capture the Genshin Impact target audience, and then possibly monetize them towards a Web3 interface. Neo itself is more of a metaverse AAA style project, whereas the last game itself is very much of a Web3 NFT style project. So what we're trying to do here, as you can see, is basically to spread our resources and spread our effort and our team members into various different avenues and opportunities to ensure that the company itself is long-term sustainable and that we can also make a difference in multiple industries at the same time. So I think that pretty much sums up our GameFi approach, and I'll leave it, I'll leave it to questions with regards to the GameFi now.
I want to make sure we get to community questions here because we have a lot to go over, and I'm sure they have many. But my question is more, I guess, in line with like just the diversity of your project. So I see 3 team members here. How large of a team is actually working on this?
Right. So we have about 80 plus docs employees.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just lost your mic, I believe.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you, yes.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. So we have 80 plus docs employees. So some of them are on LinkedIn, some of them are too lazy to update their LinkedIn profiles, but a lot of them are on LinkedIn, some of them are on our website as well, so you can check out who's working on which project. I think the separate teams within Sponsee also work individually on their projects, and sometimes they cross into others. So this will depend on the role of the employee itself. If you're a team leader, for example, if you're like a blockchain lead or you're a technical leader or something, you might find yourself dabbling in several different projects just to, give advice on those projects and to tie in the team members to have a common goal. Now, if you are more of a implementation-focused employee, such as an artist, you will be working on an individual project and only that project itself. So I think even for us here, as you know, sort of like the core team or the higher executive team, me, Rupert, and Daniel, we work on vastly different things within the company. But at the same time, we ensure that we know what each other are working on so that, there's a sort of communication going on and we get the entire big picture of what the company is heading towards as well. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. Please continue with anything else you have. As far as the GameFi is concerned, I'm going to leave that to my community because they love P2E and everything gaming.
Yeah, I think one more thing I want to point out is that at the end of this AMA session, we will be showcasing some of the gameplay from Stardust League. So maybe from our side, we'll probably hop onto the game itself and live stream some of the gameplay. Telegram is notoriously bad for the streaming bit rate, so it's going to be a bit choppy. But if you want to check out the game itself, you can also download it and try it out. I think I'm not going to touch too much on the GameFi side of things because we still have about a day out from our token relaunch itself. And I want to save some of the best for the last AMA in the Sponsee community itself. So if any of you want to get some sneak previews of the other games or some things that we haven't really touched on, because there's just so many things to talk about, right? If you want to get some more information, do remember to tune into the final AMA session, which we will be having, which will actually lead up to the token relaunch itself, where we'll all be online, face-to-face with the entire community itself. So I think I'll send a personal invite to Safe Haven Club as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love that. Also, full disclosure, I tried to download and play the game, and I'm a Mac user, so I'm not able. But
right.
I very much look forward to seeing the gameplay.
Yeah, we actually do have an experimental Mac build, but I think it's been having a bit of bugs with the most recent 0.0.3 updates because we haven't updated that build. So
every I miss out on for that reason. No, I'm used to it. It's okay. Take care of the majority.
One interesting thing to note about Stardust League, though, is that it's actually built in something called a built-in render pipeline. So it's actually a mobile render pipeline in Unity itself, the Unity engine. So it might not seem like a mobile game with its PC-like graphics, but I assure you that we are going to optimize it and basically push it to mobile as well. So it's very, very mobile friendly. It's built for mobile, and the eventual goal is to lower the barrier of entry for players and to target the mobile market worldwide, which we think is much, much, much larger than the PC market itself.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I would definitely play it on the phone. That sounds very cool. All right, guys.
All right, so now I'll hand it back. Yeah, sorry.
Please, man.
Go. Yeah, I'll hand it back to Daniel to touch on more topics, and then maybe we can go to the Q&A after that if there's no other things to talk about.
I think we summarized it quite quickly. I don't know what time it is right now, but it comes down to, it's not a randomized thing that we develop iOS and Android apps and Web3 apps, and that we have blockchain teams and game development teams and also design teams and Web3 developers. It's all because we want to hit different areas and different business areas, and we want to make sure that this works both in a bear market and a bull market. So that's our goal here. And if we have, for example, Chili is a Web3 application. If we want to move that towards an iOS app in the future, we do have the teams to do it. So I think that just speaks for the way we choose to build up these teams that develop these applications. I think we're ready for questions if we don't have anything else we want to add into this.
Okay.
I think maybe something interesting that I can also leak from the jury side of things, the jury protocol side of things, since, it's been a pretty cool AMA session, and we're just getting back into the whole group of having AMAs as well. So I think one of the interesting things which comes to the jury protocol itself that, we haven't really touched on in this AMA session itself is that there will be a jury version 2 coming out as well, which we are currently working on, which will include more reward functions for people to vote on things. So I just want to talk about jury because I think it's a very exciting piece of technology. It's actually our most technologically advanced application that typically goes under the radar because of the number of things that we do. So jury itself, right, is very interesting because it stems from the American system of having a jury that votes on the outcome of a court ruling, right? So when you have a dispute, or when you have, something going on, you have a court case in America, the jury will hear the proceedings and then they will vote on the outcome of the proceedings itself. Now, I think what's really interesting is that we managed to develop this reward cycle for people to get incentivized to vote in jury, but at the same time, dictate a certain way in which they can vote, which is both democratic but also fair. So how jury does this is that the outcome of jury belongs to the majority, right? So basically you can't vote on randomized outcomes and get rewarded on it, because if the outcome that you vote on is not the outcome that is agreed upon by everybody else, essentially you will have lost your chance for a reward. And from, I think, February till now, after we've implemented the jury protocol, as we have promised in our last token launch, we have had weekly jury cases to basically get our community involved. And our community has been, as Daniel said, earning the staking rewards from the jury protocol itself. But it's definitely not a passive staking system, which is what a lot of different tokens do. Ours is the active staking system that actually contributes to the overall activity of the ecosystem itself. Now, this is something that's super interesting that I want to talk about now. Now that I brought up jury, and now that I've also brought up Neo, I would like to say one thing which I haven't really told the rest of the community members yet, which is that jury, or I've told some community members only, which is that jury will be integrated with Neo. So how we perform the governance in Neo itself, in the Neo Futuropolis cyberverse itself that we're building, is that we will be utilizing jury as the backend system for the system of governance, where if people want to basically decide on, let's say, whether a certain faction in the city is going to be approved to build a building or an apartment, right? They can actually utilize the jury system itself and then get the inhabitants or the citizens or the residents of the Neo Futuropolis to actually vote if they hold SP tokens. So this is vastly different to just using tokens as a system of transaction for the marketplace, which is what most games do. Instead, what we can actually do is we can give the power back to the people, the residents inside the game itself, so they can shape the economy and shape the development of the sphere of the game itself. And I think the implementation of jury in Neo itself will show how our ecosystem is actually a cohesive picture, is a cohesive whole, and how we also keep in mind to basically integrate our apps with one another to basically develop Sponsee into a conglomerate as is what our intention would be in the future as well. So I hope that gives a small teaser about what's to come for our GameFi space and also what's to come for the jury protocol itself.
No, great. And I mean, we've actually never done this on the Haven, but I just got permission to go over a little bit on time here because I have a lot more questions. Okay, so everyone, don't worry, I'm going to get to you guys, I promise. But so the thing that fascinated me the most, and the first note that I took actually here was jury. I've seen DAOs and I've seen other ways of governance, but can you explain to me? Let's say I actually want to be a part of it. How do I approach that? How do I become part of the voting stock in jury?
Maybe Rupert or Daniel can go into the details.
I can take this question. So yeah, it's actually super easy. So it's all on the website. So once, as long as you're a holder of the Sponsee token, the SP token, you'll be able to go to our website, go to the jury section of it, and connect to jury. So once you connect to jury, it'll take you to another page that tells you about the jury cases of the week. So each week we have 2 cases. So basically it will be a narrative, a story that writes out what happened, and then person A's, the first person's resolution for it, and the second party's resolution for it. And then you, based on the narrative that was written out, you get to decide which outcome you think is the correct one, and you vote on it. So the correct answer, there's no correct answer. It's just whichever is the majority consensus is the winner of that jury dispute, just as is done in American courts, where the majority of the jury decides the verdict of each dispute. So yeah, so no barrier to entry of it at all. As long as you hold like one SP token, you can do it. You hold 10,000, you can do it as well. But of course, your rewards are a percentage of these of how many of these tokens you put up in jury. So for example, if you're in the majority group and the reward is 1%, for example, then if 1% of 10,000 will be a significant number. 1% of 1 is not much. So your rewards are percentage based. But your vote for each wallet is still 1.
So to summarize that, it's like a normal staking system. You take your tokens, you lock them inside jury. That gives you access to vote on questions, and you get rewarded for doing so. To summarize it.
Very interesting. I've never actually seen that sort of direct democratic approach as far as the ability to vote with the same amount there. Cool. All right, let me look at my notes here. All right, so you guys mentioned a few things that sort of caught my attention. So first off, Sponsee is a fiat-based transaction. So you can bring in normal people that have never really been exposed to the smart chain and our chaos and work with them. That's great. And then you guys have also mentioned the PDE aspect of this, and now we've got jury. These are all, like, I would say almost independent clicks on smart chains, right? So you have people that like PDE, you have people that like, I guess, for lack of a better term, like consumer-facing fiat-based kind of things like Sponsee. You have people that like just investing in coins. You're targeting a bunch of different groups simultaneously. So what is your marketing approach, and how have you adapted it to, I mean, going after completely different groups of people on one unified project?
Well, I think to answer the question, we need to talk about not just a unified marketing approach, but a bespoke marketing approach when it comes to the various groups that we're targeting or the various industries that we're targeting. And this also goes down to the demographics of the group itself, right? So for example, Sponsee is going to launch its version 2 of the app in India itself. And the Indian marketing system or the marketing climate itself has its own nuances that we need people on the ground, our employees, who are very well adapted or well versed in the situation to understand and to basically take advantage of. Same for GameFi industry itself, right? So it depends really on the target audience that we're targeting. So for GameFi itself, for Stardust League, we're targeting players who like anime style games and Genshin Impact target audiences. So to target this group of people, there are various things you need to do, of course. So you need to have direct outreach to them, basically, and you need to have things that tie in the entire ecosystem of the project itself. So you can't just have a game. You need the lore of the game. You need the background. You need to have anime, webtoon. And our webtoon is going to be released, I think, next week as well. Then you need to have direct marketing channels to give us the outreach. So basically, whether it's through partnerships with game marketers or partnerships with various social media marketing agencies, or also partnerships with people who are already on the Sponsee platform itself, who provide marketing services, or game influencers, as well as Twitch streamers. So these are the kind of things that we need to consider for GameFi itself. Now, I think for Shili itself, it's a completely different thing. Maybe Daniel can go into it, and Rupert can go into it for Sponsee as well.
I think it's important to know that all of these projects, they do have their own specific teams and their own market research and marketing behind them. So it's not like we use the same marketing approach for every project. They all have their own thing that fits into that business area. When it comes to Chile, of course, we have a large connection network just in the business, and we do all of these connections all the time. Just to mention that we went to Crypto Expo Asia just to meet up with a bunch of partnerships that we already have, and we also, for Chile, it's quite easy because we vet and we check what marketing agencies and marketing venues work the best, and then we can use them for our own marketing when it comes to that. And at the end of the day, Chile is meant to secure and improve how crypto space and crypto projects work these days. So I would say that's the approach that we take. So they're all very, very different on how they approach the market.
Yeah, thanks for explaining, Daniel. So yeah, so like what Daniel and Joel said, each project has their own strategy for it. So like Chile, crypto-based Web3 project, has a more crypto-based approach to it. Sponsee app itself, which is going to launch in India, has a more traditional influencer-based approach, since it's sort of an influencer platform. So each one has its own bespoke approach, and their own specialized team members to help with the marketing in that area. Yeah, so that's how we do it.
Awesome. I have yet to see a project. I've seen a lot of projects that have done multiple utilities simultaneously. I've never seen ones with individual teams on each one. So very cool. All right. I do believe it's time to get to my community's questions, and I'm still really want to see that live streaming that you guys have planned. So to anyone who's new to my AMAs, if you guys are unable to ask a question in VC and you would like me to ask it over myself, you can type it in the most recent post. That's VC open for Sponsee AMA and Duck Race. I will do my very best to get to everyone I can. While I'm looking over, why don't we start with the first VC question? Whoever wants to go is more than welcome to ask. Please just be polite to each other. Don't speak over anyone. If someone starts talking, that is their turn.
Okay.
All right, we have, I believe first was Dominion.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, buddy. Welcome.
Yeah. My question is, from the website, I could see that they have 43 teams listed, and then Daniel said they have 80 plus teams. So looking at the tax exchanges and the tax and the transaction fees, how do they want to maintain that amount of employee on Sponsee and on Chile Hub?
Should I take that, or Daniel, do you want to take it?
You can take it if you. I think this
right.
revenue model of Sponsee, I think.
Right. So as I've talked, thanks Dominion for the question. I think it's a very valid question, and I think my answer will shed the light on that question itself. So as you know, Sponsee is a registered company, right? So we are a company that is in charge of all the various projects that are under us. So these projects are all entirely in-house built. They're all part of Sponsee itself. This means that our revenue model and our revenue stream extends across our projects towards the company fund itself. So for example, so basically we have multiple revenue streams, and we're establishing multiple revenue streams as well. So for example, something from the GameFi side of things, by selling characters, if we can establish a revenue stream from that, that will go towards the Sponsee company itself, which will utilize that for both development and marketing towards other projects as well, or to support the other projects which have not yet generated a revenue stream or revenue model. Same for NFT sales, same for a variety of things that we do within Sponsee actually itself. So the other thing would be the various individual revenue streams for all of these projects. That might be something that you want to know. So for Sponsee itself, yes, it would be, maybe I think Rupert will be more suited to answer this question because of the number of things we do. But for Chile itself, it will be that transaction fee. For GameFi side, it will be through the sale of characters and also sale of in-game assets. So Rupert, do you want to touch on Sponsee's revenue generation stream?
yeah, so Sponsee has is a phone app marketplace. So we'll be using a mixture of traditional and crypto based marketing revenue streams in the future. So for the traditional ones, like just with any marketplace, there's always a lot of competition on it. So there'll be fees such as to make yourself featured, like further featured and highlighted on the app. So you can get payments for that. You have things such as sponsored sections, where if you want to sponsor uh, your business or your influencers, so sponsored spots as well on the application. On top of that, in the future, which we don't have right now, there'll be option of transaction fees on some of the transactions as well. But we are not starting out with that at all, so it'll be fee free to get more members in at the very beginning, with transaction fees potentially coming about at a later stage. On top of that, when crypto is added in, there'll be other incentives for people to use crypto. So the crypto transactions itself will give some revenue to the company because of the small tax on the token. So all these contribute in different ways to revenue streams, and yeah, so there are a lot that can be done, and these will all be implemented at a later stage, because right now, as we launch first, we do not want to complicate the app so much with revenue, and do not want to increase the barrier to entry by having transaction taxes and all that. So yeah, so it's a matter of time before we input all these things into the app, and then that's how it will make revenue. So yeah, so each of these platforms have their own unique approach to generate revenue that is specific and specialized to them, basically.
All right, thank you very much.
I can add into that a little bit as well. We have so much projects going on, so it might get a bit advanced when we do it like this, when we summarize it. But if you take the token, for example, we have a 2% transaction fee that goes to marketing and development. We also, if you look at Chile, it's unlimited on what we can list there. So there is marketing, development, listing, exchanges, AMAs, ads, and all of that I mentioned previously. And like I said, there's a transaction fee there. It doesn't really affect the people that list their services on Chile, because in the future, anyone that partners up with us will also grow with us, and anyone that partnerships with us to bring traffic into Chile will also grow with us with time. So anyone that lists their services on Chile and get verified, of course, the transaction fee isn't a problem for them, because we give them new clients. They don't have to do what is currently super common in the crypto business, that they have to hunt for the projects themselves. We want the projects to join Chile, feel safe, and order marketing and development services and exchanges in a safe marketplace without hassle. So there's lots of different revenue streams inside the Sponsee company, and we all, with strategic, marketing ways, choose to put them in different sectors. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for the question. Ojo, yeah, go ahead, buddy. Then I'm going to do a text one.
Okay. So actually, I've been with you guys since, and I so much love all that is encompassed in, all your ecosystem. But there's this part you've been silent about that I've gone to check on your website, which is the NEO, that has to do with the metaverse. I actually haven't really heard you talk much about that. Though I said I saw TBA, which is to be announced, the release date. So I would just want you to really give us a glimpse of your plans concerning the metaverse, because I've seen you have a lot of plans concerning, because there's a lot of conception about your ecosystem. You are trying to have a freelance place, that's the Chile part. Is taking pool for us, and you have a lot of things. So can you just please explain more about the metaverse, the neo metaverse you're planning on?
Right. Okay. I think I'll be taking this. Thanks, Ojo, for the question. And I think might recognize the name from last year. So yeah, appreciate the question. Now, I think first and foremost, we have been very silent on Neo. I have had a few sneaky drops here and there in the Sponsee community for people who constantly watch out for messages, but I don't pin them. So if you see it, you see it. If you don't see it, you don't see it. There's a reason for that because I think we haven't started massive marketing for Neo yet, and I think we wanted to focus on Stardust League's launch first. Now, since you ask, I think would you like to see a sneak preview of the metaverse that we have built in Neo? And also, I can do that right now, and I can show us a short, 30-second live stream from our YouTube channel. And then if you guys are keen, you can go check it out as well. But on the other hand, of course, I want to address your question, which is to tell you more about the metaverse vision and also what we are planning for Neo itself. Now, so one thing to note about Neo is that there's something that I don't like about the whole idea of a metaverse when it comes to Web3 projects. So if you look around you and you see like the word metaverse, most of the time what you'll see Minecraft looking or Roblox looking sandbox projects where it's all like, block-sized people and then they're just walking about in very, very basic looking environments. I think one thing that people usually don't talk too much about when it comes to metaverse is that the realism of a metaverse is actually very important. How real does it look? Now for us, I think you can have the whole ecosystem, you can have the whole connectivity, but if your metaverse doesn't look like it's from the real world, it doesn't look photorealistic, then it's not a metaverse, right? It's just a game. If you want virtual realism, you need to fulfill the responsibility of the term realism itself, and I think that's what Neo is about. Neo is about introducing realistic-looking graphics, realistic-looking textures and everything to look AAA, and also realistic physics of the cars and people and how they move and things like that. At the same time, of course, on top of the realism, we supplement it with how everything connects together, right? So how Neo is going to work, that I'm just going to briefly touch on, and then if you want to know more, you have to join the Neo AMA itself. How Neo is going to work is that everyone is allowed to join the world of Neo. So the world of Neo is called the Futuropolis, named for the future, right? The Futuropolis is where we envision people of the future to be. We will not be the only metaverse project out there that we recognize because there's going to be so many metaverse projects out there. But what we want to do is we want to have a living, breathing metaverse where people can actually do what they do in their everyday lives. And on top of that, participate in PvP tournaments. So a metaverse is very empty if you have nothing to do in it. You can have a very nice looking world, but if you have nothing to do, nothing to interact with other people in, basically your metaverse is an empty shell of a world. It's not the real world, basically, right? You can't compare, you can't compete. So what we're going to do with our metaverse is that we're going to have a reward system. Okay, and this reward system is going to incentivize players to take part and also kind of stake their tokens or stake their rewards, and it will form a reward pool. And in this reward pool, they will be able to participate in tournaments such as like a first-person shooter tournament in a cyberpunk-style city, or you can participate in a lightsaber duel. You can also participate in a street race along the streets of Neo itself. There are a lot of funny things that we have tried as well and we're implementing. Some just for fun, of course. We have a skateboard ring just to do skateboarding, with horse riding tournaments, with rock climbing tournaments, with a variety of fun activities for people to participate in. So I think some of the key case studies we have drawn on, there are actually 3 case studies that we have looked at for creating a metaverse. And none of them are Web3 metaverses because we believe that whatever we find in the Web3 space is not a very good representation of what a metaverse can be. So number 1 is GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5. So if you look at GTA 5 in the online community and GTA Online, you will see that what they have developed is actually this system where, some of these servers, they have their own countries, right? You need a passport to enter. You're able to vote on certain things and things like that. You're able to basically live in it as if you are living in the real world. There's a police system as well, if you're familiar with GTA. And some of these policemen and police officers are actually in-game players as well. So everybody has a job that they do to earn in-game currency. So that was a huge inspiration for us. In terms of the world design and the law and the mechanics of the world itself, it was Cyberpunk 2077. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 lacked something that we felt that was necessary to really make it a huge success. And that was the element of player-player connectivity. Cyberpunk was very much story-focused, but it lacked the PvP element, and it also lacked the element where you could connect with other people. If you have such a beautiful world, but only you can explore it, and you have no one else to explore it with, essentially it's a very, very lonely world. And we've all been there, right, playing one of these games. So what we want to do is we want to form a safe space for people, basically for people who like games, and they can safely explore it, and they can also form meaningful relationships with one another in. And I think, so it's basically the idea of this safe and not lonely place that we want to create. And of course, the number 3 game that we have looked at was actually the game of Minecraft itself. So Minecraft is a very interesting case study that we looked at. Now, the success behind Minecraft, I could go on and on about it, but the success behind Minecraft could be summed down to one word basically, and that one word was called iteration. So I think what we want to do with Neo is to engage the community. That's why we have a governance process, is SPE. We want to engage the community to help with the development of the game, to constantly iterate on what's successful and to take away what's not successful in the game. The best games that are ever produced are those that take the community's feedback and turn that into a reality in the game itself. And that is one of our huge case studies to how we run Neo Futuropolis itself. So I think this gives a pretty much a good example of what we want to see Neo Futuropolis progress into. I think there's still a long way to go with that because I think it's very easy to, okay, it's not easy, it's pretty hard, but it's doable to present a game to the community. But there are a lot of things like bug fixes that has to go on even when the game is being released. For example, Stardust League has had like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of bug fixes. We're constantly finding new bugs to fix, new player balancing issues that we need to address as well. So with Neo, I expect it to be the same as well, except this time it's going to be much more monumental of a task because of the complexity of the Neo world itself and the ecosystem that's being integrated into it. But I think I'm looking forward to presenting a lot about Neo itself to you guys as well. Sorry, I think I went a bit overboard with that. Do you guys, instead of seeing Stardust League, do you guys want to check out Neo as well instead? Maybe at the end of this video, I'll decide between Stardust League and Neo, and I'll give a sneak preview of either one of them after this Q&A session.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you guys for too long, but I'd love that. I do have one phenomenal question that was submitted that I want to ask before we continue in BC. So apparently, the Indian government has implemented a 1% tax on all crypto transactions back and forth. And you guys are referring to the fact that you have huge Indian, backing and community members and everything and teams. So first off, just fundamentally, I don't really understand how that works on the smart chain as to how you can decipher where everyone comes from and how the taxes go back and forth and how to calculate that. But do you have any plan for that?
Yeah, let me answer this. So regarding crypto transactions within the Sponsee app in India setting itself, so there won't be concern for this at the beginning because we are just putting it fiat first to lower the barrier of entry for the influencers and companies to enter, because crypto transactions still present a certain barrier of entry for most of these influencers and businesses. Subsequently, we heard about the 1% tax news. I think it was from a couple months back, right, where it came about. But it won't be too much of a concern to us. Our strategy is always, of course, to cooperate with all the authorities that we have around. So, like for instance, for the India app, what we needed to do is also part of it is we need to register our company, register some official documents in India to be able to use the proper payment services within the app, the app itself, the Indian payment services, Indian fiat payment services within the app itself. So we always try to operate in the same wavelength, in the same way as how the government expects. And regarding the whole 1% tax thing, we will have to talk to them and work out something once we reach that stage where we need to be regulated like that. And we'll of course cooperate and we will act in accordance to those laws. So this is crypto regulation is actually something we are quite familiar with as well, because within Singapore's context, which is where we are located, there's several crypto regulations coming into place as well. The country is still generally quite crypto friendly, but it's still things that we have to pay attention to stay on the right side of the law. And we actually have our legal team behind to help us with this as well. So to ensure that we don't trip over anything, because we're always very busy with our various teams to develop the projects. So legal is something that we are super careful about, and something we pay attention to from the very beginning. Yeah, so that's
Sorry. No, I appreciate that very much. It's getting to be something that we all have to worry about in this space, like a lot more than we did previously, especially in areas like Singapore, America. Other areas that are now starting to see how much money we're generating, and they want like a piece. Okay, let's take a look at, you know what, let's go to a VC question. Guys, go ahead.
Oh, there's no answer.
Shimba, my man, after you.
Yeah, it's just a simple question, but I just want to congratulate them because they have a lot of utilities, and I was shocked, and I don't know, my mind is just blown up with it with a lot of informations, and I just hope that their game will be like successful as Genshin Impact, because if that will happen, definitely this will boom up. Oh, so this is just a simple question that Rivals saw. I see that your hard cap is 1,000 BNB, but the max buy that you can also buy in the pre-sale is also 1,000 BNB. Is there a glitch about that one, or is it really like that?
Yeah, so there's a reason for that. Because we do a migration, we took the price before the migration. So we want to basically have the same buying as if someone bought before the migration, if that makes sense. So before the migration, there was no, it's a normal shop, people can buy and people can sell. There's no limitations on what you can buy. So because we reflect, because we pulled liquidity and now we reflect the price towards this sale to give it a bump, it's still the same price. So it doesn't matter if you bought before or after. So there can be no regulations on how much you can contribute or not, because it doesn't really matter, because the price is reflected from the migration. So I hope that makes sense. Is to reflect and show the same environment as if you purchase it before the migration. That's just so everyone can be on the same page when we launch and connect this ecosystem to this token, if that makes sense.
Okay. I got it now. Thank you so much.
So just to make sure I understand, because it's not starting from zero, you're starting an existing market cap and liquidity ratio.
Yes.
You're allowing any open up.
And the calculation on that is super advanced, because we're changing circulating supply, we're moving liquidity to a new contract, and we're also doing a launch pad at the same time. So yes, we're moving from a set market cap, and we're releasing it to a set market cap with the same possibility to buy it before and after migration. So it's all to make sure that we protect our current holders and we protect the people that invest now in this launch pad. So everyone will be on the same page. It's all set and calculated. That's why the reason we cannot go higher than 1,000 hard cap as well. We don't want to affect the price too much. So that's the reason for it.
So what will be the market cap at launch, assuming there was nothing additional raised? What was the starting?
Around 1.6 million.
1.6 mil. Got it. Okay. Man, you guys have some amazing questions today. I got to say, some of the longer ones are a little bit difficult to go over on at this stage, because I really want to see that game. Guys, for anyone that I don't get to in text, I'm sure the team would be more than happy to answer these questions in their Telegram or any of their media. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes, for sure, yeah. Feel free to jump on board our Telegram community and ask us questions as well. I think over the next couple of days, over tomorrow and today, we'll be having a lot more AMA sessions as well. So you're welcome to hop into our own in-house AMA sessions as well. And if you're from Safe Haven calls, you can just say that you are, and we'll give you guys a shout out as well.
Thanks, man. That's great. Yeah, I mean, the amount of questions in the comment section, if you guys want to take a look, are awesome. Okay, let me see. I'm going to choose one more text. We'll do one more VC, and then I want to see these guys' game. Let's see. We covered that pretty thoroughly. This is a great question, SpongeBob Marley.
I will say, Achilles, if you want to check out the game, maybe we should do a tournament with you someday in the future, or maybe later tonight with some kind of prizes. It's a very fun game. It's very addictive, and it's very, very fun and very high quality. So I hope you like it.
Daniel, as the worst gamer in BSC, I would love to do a competition just so you guys can have fun laughing at me playing. If you can find a way to make that happen with my Mac, I'm there, my man.
I'm sorry, I don't speak noob, so maybe someone else will play with you.
We're not having the Mac PC discussion right now. We're just not going to do it. But I'm used to defending myself. I'll say that much. All right.
There is a $500 reward if anyone wants to take on the desk. So you have to beat 5 team members with a single character. If you can do it, $500 is yours.
And you just had another one of these like yesterday, you guys said, right?
Yeah, we just had one today, today, just a couple of hours ago, actually. And the challenger actually won, so we lost. So it's possible.
Well, for all of our gamers, you guys know where to go. Okay, I'm going to ask this one question, then like I said, we'll do one more and we're done. I want to see this thing. Where did SpongeBob Marley? Okay, so just due to the level of complexity of what you guys have going on here, do you have any customer service desk? Let's say I'm, a new developer. I'm trying to use your services, trying to link up with people in there, and I run into issues. What do you have planned for that?
So it depends. It depends on which platform. So like for example, a Shili app will have the link to a place where you can write feedback to their own Shili site devs. For Sponsee app, you can do the same thing. It will have feedback towards the India side. For the upcoming games, you have feedback towards the gaming teams. And for Neo, I think that we'll save that for more in the future. There'll be their own kind of system as well. For Jury, since it's the most decentralized one, it's kind of linked more towards the mods, and it's more of like a Sponsee ecosystem thing. So each one has their own sort of a channel that you can approach to get support if they need. So yeah, we understand that we've had to face a lot of issues. So these kind of customer pipelines are really important. But yeah, I think the most simple way, if you're not sure, is to get into our chat and message one of our mods. Then they can direct you, because usually our mods are really nice and responsive, so they'll bring you to the correct place.
Excellent.
Or for the games, it would be on the Discord channels for the games itself. So there are dedicated feedback channels, and all the game devs are actually in the Discord itself to reply directly to players.
And let me make sure I included all those links in the post if you guys. I don't.
Oh, another thing is that I think because we have so much content to share, and Neo as well, right? I'm sure you want to see a AAA metaverse project. So I'm going to be after this AMA session, I'm going to be linking a few videos, one from Stardust League and one from Neo as well. So if you have anyone who missed out on the AMA, they can also refer to that and check those out.
Awesome. All right, one final question from the BC, and then I'm sorry, guys, we are done with the question portion. Does anyone have a burning one?
Hey man, sorry. Actually, I kind of joined late, but I don't know if you asked my question that I dropped in the text, in the comment section.
Mediocre, I don't believe that I did, man. But if you were late, I'm going to post a recording of this. There was a lot of information to go over, so I would just suggest taking a look at that.
Okay, but is there still a chance for me to ask my question, or do you want to carry on?
Yeah, you can ask really quick. Go ahead.
Okay, so like I was talking about, asking about the jury protocol. So you guys said it's going to be self-sufficient. So what I want to find out is how long will it take for the jury protocol to be self-sufficient, to be able to make decisions on its own? And it depends on the number of people who sign up and who vote regularly. So how will that work?
Okay. Thanks for the question. Should I answer this, Rupert? Okay. Yeah. The answer is fairly long, because it's not very easy to be. What you're talking about is basically training the jury system using natural language processing, right? To be able to make dispute resolution outcomes on its own without the involvement of token holders. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I think still fairly long, because we need to collect a lot more proposal data from the users first to ensure that the system is good. Because if you do not have enough training data for a model, you can train your model with all sorts of great accuracy and stuff like that, but once you test it, it breaks. So I think a good model has to be well trained. It needs to have enough training data for it to happen. But the good thing is that with every jury case that we put out and people engage in, it actually forms part of our bank of training data cases itself. So that will contribute to building the model eventually. I'm going to say that probably not this year. It's probably not going to be completed this year. But we'll try our best. I think with the number of things we're working on, I think we're also a bit swamped.
Wow, wow, wow. That was a very much explanatory answer. Thank you very much, Joel. And so that is the only question I have. So thanks very much for everything, and thanks, Achilles. Nice project ahead.
Thanks for being here, buddy. Always happy to have you. Okay, guys. Yeah, let's move on to your games. I'd love to see them.
All right, yeah. I think I'll be sharing my screen and I'll just showcase a PvP match maybe from Stardust League. And do note that Telegram is a little bit choppy because we are streaming from the screen itself. So if you want to see the actual full matches, they're all in-game footage. You can head to the YouTube channel as well. All right.
Yeah, guys, please keep your mics on mute.
While Joel checks that, I just want to say that I know there's a lot to take in. This is the summarized version. If you have any questions, just go to our community and ask us. We're always there, and the mods is there 24/7. So we're open to any questions that you may have.
Yeah, no, I mean it. I've done over. I mean, we have to have done 100 AMAs at this point, and you're the first one I've ever let go over an hour because I felt like it wasn't just like filler information. It was actually good information. Happy to have y'all.
Can you guys see my screen?
We can.
Yep.
All right. So I'm just queuing for a match, and yeah, so this is going to just be a PvP match from Stardust League. So you kind of, oh my goodness, 2 Rapunzel at the same time. All right, all right. Well, seems like a match with someone using the same character. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
The problem with Telegram is that it's very, very laggy, I think. So you might have to download and check it out yourself if you want a smooth version of it.
Yep. So what I've just done is I've unlocked my ult. So it kind of fires random arrows from the sky that tracks your opponent. Throwing a light boomerang now. So there's a lot of tactics that comes when playing Stardust League. You can select the weapons or select the attacks that you want to suit your own playstyle. Yeah, so this is one of the maps. So we actually have a few maps that you can use when you play PvP as well. So I'm just firing a locking arrow. Oh, I'm out of mana. Right. Oops, I'm stuck. Right. So what that does is that those leaves, they kind of slow you down. So it creates more interesting gameplay as well. So that's why I got stuck in it there. So I can do this, and then it lets me fire arrows from afar that tracks my opponents. So doing my ult, and then the light boomerang, and I got locked. So this is another one of those things that players can do when they can basically stun their opponents and they can perform a series of combis and stuff like that. And yeah, and this should end it. So I won. This is our leaderboard. So our top player, Afu, he's at 150 wins, which is a lot of wins. So as you can see, I'm only rank 7, and there are other people below me as well. So yeah, Cryptix is catching up with Afu, so they're going to have a showdown soon. Cryptix claims he's the king of the game. I think he's probably here somewhere in the chat, so I'm looking forward to that showdown as well. Yeah. So there are different modes. You can play training ground modes with different maps. There's also wave controller mode, and yeah, you can select your characters. You can change the attacks of your characters. There's a variety of attacks that you can do. And there's also a chat system, so you can go like, hi, noobs. Yeah, and that's basically it. So if you're playing the game, do join our Discord. You can click on the link here, or it's on our website as well.
Looks great.
Do you guys want to see a sneak preview of Neo? Okay, maybe I'll send that on the chat itself, and then maybe you can share it among your members as well. I think that itself is much more visually impressive, but of course, Stardust League is more about the gameplay and the anime style of things.
If you would send me a link to it, what we can do is, so we post all the recaps on the YouTube, and everyone gets a link so they can view it. I'd be happy to post that as well, and then everyone can take a look from it right there.
All right, great.
Sounds good.
Well, I think I'm quite excited to show. Maybe I'll just do a small, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
May I?
I'd love to, yeah.
All right. Okay, so this is just a scene from Neo itself. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yep.
I can see it, yeah.
Right, so this is one of the cities that we have built in Neo. So it's basically a mega city with many different regions. I'm not sure if it's laggy on Telegram or not, but it's pretty smooth here, 60 FPS.
It is very laggy.
Right. Okay, maybe not the best way to show it on Telegram then. Stop sharing. All right, so I think that concludes our showcase. Not the best showcase because it's Telegram, but we will be sending the links down below. You get to see in-game footage, and you can also try the game itself.
Excellent. Well, if you guys have any closing comments, then I'm going to end the recording in just a minute.
Yeah, I think maybe each of us can take turns to touch on some of our final points. I think for me, myself, I've been in this, we have been working on Sponsee for a rather long time. So it feels that, things have come full circle with a relaunch, and I'm very glad to be interacting with the community again. One of the things that I want to stress, if you want to remember anything from this AMA session, is that we're not just a token. So that's the most important thing, right? So when you talk about tokenomics and taxes and stuff like that, just remember we're not just a token. We are actually now a company. We're working on multiple projects at the same time, each already in the market itself. So so I think we present a very different value proposition from other token projects out there.
Yeah, very, very nicely said, Joel. So I don't have anything else to close off. I think this has been which we have tried to pack as much information as we can at this time, but it still does not fully cover everything we are doing. So yeah, if you have any further questions, just feel free to come into our groups, our Telegram chats, and just ask any of the mods or ask the community, and they'll be glad to give you more information. If you want to know more, we'll be having many more AMAs coming up today, tomorrow, and maybe even after that. So feel free to hop into those, and to find out the schedule of AMAs, you can just check for it from our community. Yeah, so that's all from me. Daniel, anything you want to say?
I think that's it. I mean, we have a lot of developments. We have a community that has been with us since start, and they can probably give some answers and some feedback on the stuff that we do. But we really care about the community engagement and the community aspect on getting feedback on the games and the development. So please join us. We're in for a fun ride this year. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. All right, I'm going to end the recording.